beaucoup de plaisir que je reçois l'homme exceptionnel, le rappeur exceptionnel qui vient directement du Cameroun. C'est avec beaucoup de plaisir. Alors, beaucoup de plaisir que je rencontre cette exception. Lui, c'est Mr. Boytak. Bonsoir à vous.
Bonsoir à vous et merci de m'avoir accueilli ici. Bonsoir à tous les téléspectateurs.
Merci surtout, merci d'avoir accepté de participer à cette édition parce que vous êtes, comme je disais tantôt, vous êtes une exception, vous êtes atypique. Votre style aura, on va dire, traversé les frontières. On a tellement voulu vous avoir sur ce plateau parce que vous êtes représentant même de la culture camerounaise, je dirais.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Et vous êtes d'une humilité. Alors, des hommes comme vous, on en trouvera difficilement. C'est tellement bon accepté de nous rejoindre.
Merci beaucoup.
Alors, il y a quelques minutes, en fait, je suivais votre chanson, My Grandmother. C'était par rapport à votre grand-mère.
Yeah, grandma, oui.
Grandma. And
oui,
I was
oui,
like,
yeah.
I was getting emotional. And I was like, okay, I need him to tell me his story because I know it's going to be an inspiration for a lot of people. I know she's the one who made you be out today. So how did Boytak live his life? How was your childhood?
My childhood was not really good. I cannot say I had like the best childhood. I just had to try the best I could to make, it seem a lovely one. But I was born in Boya, but I grew up in Muyuka. So I grew up with my mother, my grandfather, and my grandmother. So after the death of my grandfather, I was 8 when he passed away. When my grandfather died, I was 8 years old. Well, we had some ups and downs, but my mother was always not around. She was hardly around the house. She always had to go out. She was a teacher, so she would either be at school working or going out for meetings, one meeting to the other. So my grandmother was the only one who was there for us, for my older sister and I, because we are just two, my older sister and I. So my grandmother was the only person taking care of us. We called her mother. The funny thing is, we called her mother. We did not even call her grandma. We were calling her mother because we were too close to her. We were closer to her than we were closer to our own mother. So it really got to a point where I just had to get used to my mother not being around all the time. So my grandmother was the one taking care of us, doing everything for us, making sure that we eat, making sure that we have clothes on our body, making sure that we sleep well. If we are sick, she will be the one taking care of us, making sure that we have medications and everything. And she really suffered because she did not have money. She was not rich, you see. So the little she had, she spent it on us. There will be at times where we will have little or no food, and the little we manage to get, she will prefer for us to eat while she stays hungry. So it really, it was tough. It was tough. Coupling with the fact that me being an albino, I was facing ridicule, I was facing persecution, mockery, stigmatization. So you can just imagine an albino who did not really have something like financial stability or financial support or help, and again being where the father was not there, the mother was never present. I just had to be with my grandmother. She was the only one taking care of us. I know living in a suburb, in a village or quarter like Muyuka, like Sansan quarter, we had little or nothing. Coupling again with the fact that I'm an albino, so it was kind of double pressure and double trouble for me. Let me just put it that way. It was kind of double pressure and double trouble because outside I will face ridicule, I will face mockery for me being an albino. Inside the house, we will have little or no food. You see, so it was really kind of tough, and she did her best to take care of us. And when she felt sick, I had nowhere else to turn to apart from coming to Boya to her elder sister, who was like the only family we had left, because my mother passed away in 2003. So my grandfather passed away when I was 8 years old. 5 years after, my mother passed away. So my grandmother was the only one now left with us. She did all her best to make sure we went to school. I would go to school with no shoes, but she always had to try her best to make sure at least our school fees were paid, just so we would not miss classes. You understand? So really, it was tough. And when she felt sick in 2005, we brought her to Boya, to her elder sister, my great aunt, and from there I took care of her in the house. Then we took her now to the hospital, where she stayed at the hospital for quite some time, for a couple of months. And I was the one taking care of her. I was like the caretaker now. So there will come a time where and where the hospital is in Boya, the area is really cold, right? And we could not afford extra bed. We could not afford an extra bed for a caretaker to sleep on. So when she would be sleeping on the patient's bed, I would sleep under the bed on top of tiles, the caro. So I would sleep on top of tiles. At times, I would use her cloth, I would use her cover as my blanket to cover myself, so I would not feel cold and all. And I would be the only one, taking care of her. And later we were discharged because it was as if she began getting better. Her case was, kind of becoming less serious. So the doctor asked us to go home. We were discharged, and we came back home for a couple of months. Also, I was too, the one taking care of her, making sure I bathing her, cleaning her up, all the like, making sure she eats and all. And one day, the day she went, I don't know if she spiritually drove me away, because I went to make a phone call. I was trying to call one of my uncles, to tell her the state of grandmother. That is, I was trying to call her son. You see, her son. I was trying to call him to let him know the state of the mother. So the call was not going through. I tried and tried and tried, and it was not going through. Then when she died, because I went to a call box to make that call. So when she died, the call later went through. And as I was talking to my uncle now, telling her the state of Mama, grandma is not well. We have come back from the hospital, and I'm still here taking care of her. We need some money for feeding and all. My sister now came and told me that she had died. And that was like, till this day, it's the worst day of my life.
I imagine.
I'm still traumatized today. Yeah. So, I mean, everything just went south from there. And yes, it's really the worst. It's the worst day. It has been the worst day, and I think no other day can beat that. That till this day, me losing my grandmother was like the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life, because she was the only one I could look up to, And well, it is what it is. God has His own ways of taking care of His children. That's all I can say.
I think she was.
So I have to dedicate that song
to her. Yeah.
To her, yeah.
It was amazing. I was crying, like, seriously, because I feel your pain when you were singing. It was so touching. And then I would like to tell you something. If she has been able to grow a man like you, it must be because she's a strong woman. She was indeed a strong woman.
Yes, of course. She is. She did all her best to make sure we had food on our table. She did all her best to make sure we slept well. We were well taken care of, even when she had nothing. I mean, she suffered for us. She literally suffered for us. So to me, she's my own hero. Everybody has their own hero. Everybody have their heroes. My grandmother was my hero. So she made sure I had everything, though she had nothing. So really, she was a blessing, and she is still a blessing, because I know wherever she is now, she's still looking down on me with pride. She's proud of what I'm becoming. So really,
I'm
I
sure.
can only tell her rest in peace.
I'm sure she's proud of you. I'm sure she's really, really proud of what you have been doing. And then, yeah. Then you decided that you fell into depression during a long period of time after her death. What exactly happened? I mean, how did it all started? Your feeling of being abandoned. So when she died, you were like, I want to die, or I don't know where to start from. So what was the process?
Yes, yes, yes. I I was really depressed, even without knowing what depression was. You understand?
Mm.
Oh God, God knows, man. I really felt so bad that there came a point in time where I almost wanted to just kill myself because I did not really know what would become of me after her death. Since she was the only person I had left, you understand? My grandfather had died, my father abandoned us, my mother is dead, and the only person left now was my grandmother, and now she is dead. So I really did not know if I would survive without her, you know. And it really weighed heavy, like for years upon years, it really weighed heavy on me because, you know, losing the only person you can imagine losing the only string of hope that you had in life, the only person who was remaining. That's like your last chance of survival. Losing your last chance of survival. I mean, it, to me, it was really traumatizing, and I'm just thankful that my great aunt, that her elder sister, did not abandon us. You know, she tried her best to take care of us. She tried her best to make sure that I continue with my education here in Boya. Her children, my great aunt's children, they contributed. They saw how they thought of contributing and sending me to school because I was, I'm a bright child. I'm very bright. I'm very, smart, intelligent, or however they call it in school. So they knew I would do well in school because I just had my common entrance and first school. So they knew I would do well in school. Now, since there was no one left to continue my education, they just thought it possible. They thought it was all right. Let's just see how we can help him. Let's see how we can contribute and send him to secondary school. Since the grandmother, who was the only one left, who was the only person who could have done that, is no more. And if we leave this child like this, he will end up frustrated. So they contributed and sent me to secondary school. So that's how I got into secondary school and started my secondary education from one, from two. I was still, traumatized and everything, and they were trying their best to see how they could calm me down and all. But it was really not working because I still had behind my mind, at the back of my mind, that my grandmother is no more. The only person I had hope on is no more. So even if I go to school today and my my great aunt's children and these people sending me to school, what if they decide not to send me to school again? What will become of me? You see, where will I turn to? So I still had that at the back of my mind. Though I was trying to do my best in school, and God bless it, all went well. From one, I passed well. From two, and it was in from today now that I met a friend who was into music, who was into rapping and all. And I told him to, help me to take me to his studio where he was doing music, so I could also get involved in it and use music as a distraction. Use music as a way to distract myself from all those thoughts and all. So yeah, that's how I ended up being an artist.
But let's go back to the moment that you meet your friend. It was a rapper, but music industry has different style, right? You have hip hop, you have rap, you have
Yes.
jazz. But why rap? Was it because it was strong, it was violent, or it was violent? And why did you choose to go into that?
Yes. you know, rap, yeah, because back then I listened to rap and I knew rap was kind of a way to get out your emotions, to put your ideas out there. Because singing, to me, to sing is kind of really soft, and it will take a lot of verses for you to get your complete thoughts out there. But through rap, you can get everything out there with the emotion that you have. And I had so much anger in me, knowing I was alone with just my sister. My grandmother is gone. There's nowhere to turn to in case these people turn their back on me. So I had a lot of frustration and anger, and I thought doing rap would be like a way for me to get that anger out, to tell my story through rap and try to put out my emotions for people to get that emotion through the songs. So really, I chose rap because I knew it was a better way for me to put that emotion into music, to put out my anger, because I had a lot of it. I had a lot of depression. I had a lot of pain, emotional pain, sadness, anger in me. So I really needed something that I could use to, put the message out there. And I chose rap because it was like the best way for me to do it.
Alright, I'm hoping for a better world, do something that I ever wanted. When you talk about a rap, I never see any opponent, cause I believe when I'm looking at the mirror, all I see is that piece of me lyrically violent. Say it's about when you differentiate the money from the fame. My name is on the same way you decide to be silent, but it's somebody that give me why the money keep up balance. So why the hell will I stop in on my bitch having a feeling, huh? Boy tag, no the Jake shoulder. They are man, they get older. Even if you're never been a Paul, you know 50 be a ruler over me. Wulia. Yulia, all my support that truly are. But if you want come for the beef, I'll bully ya. Ziku denyam ta don't come to burn song. Cho, eh, nechu monami. Fangambu you goneri. Eh, Barlen bunkoni me, Medaneli, ya monili. Eh, I'm beginning to feel we are spot on, spot on. Yes, my 237 is about to come. Wanna see all my failures, boy, I got none. This shit is a little bit long, so get your popcorn.
If you're looking for royalty, must be, then trust me, you found one.
Talk about Eminem. I found out that you really identify yourself through him. How, according to you, apart the fact that both of you are white, to say that this way, what is the common factor between the both of you? According to you?
To me, I think, in a way, right, I come from the same place as him. He comes from the gutters. He comes from a broken home. The mother did not really care. The mother was a drug addict. The father abandoned them. You understand? So, and him also being in that place where rap music was something for the black people, it was considered as a genre of music for blacks, just the black Americans and all. But Eminem was a white man and a white guy coming in a black milieu to prove himself worthy of being called a rapper. I thought it was something that I could see myself, relating to. Me coming from somewhere, my father was never there, my mom didn't care, I only lived with my grandparents, my grandfather also died, my grandmom, in whom I had a laptop, also died. I had a lot of hate, a lot of depression, sorrow, anger, the pain that Eminem went through. I thought I knew myself, going through such a similar situation. And coming into music now, everybody around me was black. Everyone is black. So every person, on TV, the Korean musicians on TV that I saw, everyone, rappers, singers, alike, all they were black. All of them were black. And me coming into the milieu now, I saw myself like an Eminem kind of person, the white guy or the different race coming into the music milieu dominated by black. Mm-hmm. So really that was how I saw myself, and I get to relate too much with Eminem in that manner, yeah.
And I think you're right. There's
we also have some stories, yeah.
Yeah, the story is quite identical from my point of view too. It's just amazing. Talking about the fact that you were into
Yeah.
there was black environment and black people around you, and you are still the only one, the only white guy doing rap. How was the integration
Yeah.
at the beginning? Because I know you tried so much when you started rapping and you started rap. You try so much to show yourself. You try so much to have a place, let's say. And how was it? How difficult was it? Was it because you were albinos that they were not interested about your work? The fact that
Yes.
they were considering that you did not really match into that.
Yes, of course. I mean, you know, I grew up in a lot of persecution. I grew up in a lot of mockery. You know, I grew up in a lot of hate, in a lot of stigmatization. A lot of people hated me just because I was an albino. They did not take me serious. They did not want me around them. They thought I was kind of a taboo. You know, they thought I was somehow some curse from the gods or something. So really, growing up, it was tough. Now getting into the music milieu, when people will listen to my songs or see me perform, like I'll be on stage trying to rap, what they will be like, Sungunguru fait même quoi là-bas, il peut faire quoi, il ne va même pas bien, il peut prendre le microphone, il fait quoi avec le micro. Qui descend là-bas, quand les vrais gens font les choses, quelqu'un comme le bêtise là, il fait aussi quoi là-bas. Donc, they hated me, you know, they did not think I could do anything good. You see, they did not really believe in me. They did not really like see anything good in me. They just hated the fact that I was an albino and I was trying to do what everyone else was also trying to do, you know. And they thought I was somehow a taboo and I did not fit into the society. And it was really hard. It was really, really hard for me. Yeah.
Even when you
I really had to do my best.
Even when you
Yes.
participated at the music festival, was it the same?
The music star also now what happened in music star, yes, it started in 2000 and I think it was 2011 when I entered the music competition. Beginning, like at the start of it, people still felt that way. People still felt that way. They were like, nah, there's really nothing good this guy can bring to the table and all. So, and I did not let those things, I did not leave those things to disturb me, to bring me down. I could not let them bring me down. So I just had to impose myself, try to prove to these people that it does not really matter who you are or how you look or your color. All that matters is the talent you have within. So I
Okay.
had to keep on going, and yeah, a lot of them were still not believing. They were insulting, laughing at me, shouting at me on stage and all. But some of them were like, no, I mean, this guy can actually do good. He's talented, and little by little, I started gaining the trust of the people, you know, and that's how it all started changing. Though some people still, you know, hated me for just the fact that I'm albino or something. Yeah.
Even though you were expecting it was expecting from you to become an accountant in 2017 after a long struggle, you signed with Mr. Stevens. How was it? I know you were about to give up. You were about to abandon everything. You were like, that is my
Yes,
last time. So how was it?
yes. It was really tough because before that time, right, I was just struggling, you know, with music. I did not have any sponsor. I did not have any person who would promote my songs. I did not have any money for promotion and all of that. So really, it was tough. It was difficult trying to put your music out there. So it happened in a way that most of the songs I did ended only in the studio because they could not, you know, go out since I did not have money for promotion. And I am a producer also. That je suis un arrangeur, donc je suis un beatmaker
Makers,
comme on l'appelle.
songwriters, yeah.
Yeah, yes, and I am a beatmaker because when I started music, I did not have enough money to pay beatmakers for them to make beats for me. So I was forced now to learn. I had to learn how to do it myself. That way, it will help me. It will save me money since I did not have money to pay people. I started learning how to do it myself. That's how I ended up becoming a beat maker. And that way now, incorporating it into my music now, you can understand I kind of I kind of do what I do now, right? Because I can say I really love it. Because in the beginning, it was due to lack of money, right? It was due to lack of money for to give to beat makers, but I later on learned it myself and I now know it. Going back to the production or promotion part, it was really tough. I did not have any money. No money. I had to beg DJs for them to play my songs. I had to beg radio presenters for them to play my songs on the radio. I did not have, money to motivate them and all. So it got to a point where I was seeing myself as not going anywhere. It's like I was not going anywhere with this thing. So it's just better for me to abandon. Let me just give up and maybe look for something else I can do that will help me, because music is really not going since I don't have anyone to promote myself or promote my songs. And I met my friend now, Dr. Ken Stephens. I met Dr. Ken Stephens. I told him about it. Like, bro, this is it. How can I, really help myself? I've tried everything and it's not going because I don't have any money. Now, do you have any person who is looking for an artist, who wants to sign an artist or, support an artist, any sponsor that can help me? Because I have good songs, I'm talented, I have very great songs, and you have listened to the songs they are good. So please help me and look for a sponsor. And Ken Stevens told me that, all right, I should bring some of my songs to him, so he would send it to some people to see if one of them would want to sponsor me. He sent my songs to some people, to some record labels. They ignored him. They did not reply. He sent some to some other record labels. They said, nah, they will not sign me or what. And I was like, okay, man, we have tried our best, and it seems no one is ready to sign me or anything. No one is ready to promote my song. So I would just look for another thing to do that will, help me and help my sister, help my family, that can put food on our table and all. And that was when he told me that, all right, he has sent it now to another record label called Stevens Music. And Stevens Music have listened to the songs and they want to sign me. They would love to sign me. And I was like, what? Finally, we have
God have answered your prayer.
Me, who's ready to sponsor. Yes. I mean, it was great news. It was really, really great news. And he gave me their number. He gave my number to them also. One day they contacted me and told me they have listened to my songs and they love the songs, that they would like to sign me as an artist under Stevens Music. With they had other artists inside like Shura, Empro, Daphne, and I was like, wow, it means I'll be in the same record label as Daphne, as Shura, as Empro. This is great. So I told them, all right, this is good. So they sent their contract form, and Ken Stephens gave me the contract form. I read it. It was all good. I signed it, and now, and I'm really, really loving. I'm really loving the steps that I took, and I thank God for His blessings. I thank God for Stevens.
On m'a dit je ne vais jamais réussir. Finally, God is blessing me. Tu demandes, je te donne, et ça fait. Tu demandes, je te donne, et ça fait. Tu demandes, je te donne, et ça fait. Forever, definite, boy, there.
To the public, you did to freestyle. You introduced yourself doing freestyle. What was the meaning behind those freestyle?
Now, I'm a rapper, you see. So I am a rapper, à la base, je suis un rappeur. Yeah, so the way for them to introduce me into the game, because they had Daphne. Daphne is a singer. Empro was a rapper who was under, he was under construction. They were still building him up. Shura, who was there, Shura is a singer. So they wanted somebody like a rapper, and their way for them to introduce me was to make me different. They wanted me to be different from the other artists in the label. They wanted people to see me like a rapper who is joining a label full of singers. They did not just want me to come out with singing and all, no. They wanted people to know that this is a new person that we are signing into our label, and he is powerful. He is dope, he is great, he's a good rapper, and we would like you to listen to what he has. Like a little taste, of Kongu. They wanted, those raps were like Kongu. They wanted people to, get a grasp of what I had in mind, of what I was bringing. They wanted to just get a little taste of what Boychak will be bringing in the industry. And I'm really happy people listened and people watched the rap and they love it till date. Everyone is still enjoying the rap and they love the freestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been great from there till today.
Man, I mean, it was amazing. It was impactful. Like seriously, when I was listening, I was like, really? Like seriously? Is it a man or a sound man or something? I was like, really, your flow is something. Talking about your flow, how do you make it so fast? I mean, you're the only one in Cameroon, only one that can rap as fast as you do. So how do you make it? How is it possible? How do you make it? Because I need to understand, because I'm trying to sing your song. And it's only when you're low, when you're singing low, like really low, that I can sing. After that, I just have to forget about your song. You know what I mean? You're so fast. You're like, I don't know, like the TGV. I'm always like, how am I supposed to go? So how did you start up that? How did you work on yourself to be so fast as a rapper?
Yeah, when I was starting my rap, my rap career, I listened a lot of Eminem. I listened to a lot of Eminem, and I was, influenced by Eminem, because like I said earlier, we had somehow kind of a similar background and all. So I really saw myself so much in Eminem, and that was how I got to, become influenced by the way he raps, He influenced the way I rap now. I really listen to a lot of Eminem. I listen to a lot of Eminem songs. I really followed his style of rap, and he was, the idol. I wanted to be like him in my, rap career also. So I followed him a lot and all. That's how I got to start rapping fast.
As you're saying,
That's how I started rapping fast.
It means I also have to follow you every time, every day and night, so that I can rap like you.
No, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You just need to find your own style. Because now I have my style, you understand. But in the beginning, I was, rapping. I rapped like Eminem. I was all over the place, rapping just like Eminem, fast rap, mixed words and all. But now I later on discovered my own style, to differentiate me from him. Because I wanted people to know that this style, this is Boy Tag, this is Eminem. I did not want people to keep saying I rap like Eminem, I rap like Eminem. I wanted people to know me for me, like to say this is Boy Tag style, this is Boy Tag's way of rapping. That was how you can now listen to my songs and you'll find Pidgin, French, English, Mejimba. You see my mother tongue, my vernacular. You get to all that. I'll rap and I'll beg, I'll stammer a little in my song. That was a way for me to create my own style, to be unique in my delivery. So yes.
Exactly. Talking about being unique, talking about having your own style. Comment vous faites en fait? Comment avez-vous décidé de parler plusieurs langues en fait dans votre rap, dans votre style, d'ajouter plusieurs langues dans votre style déjà? Et par la suite, d'où vous vient le slammering? Parce que it's amazing though. When you are doing that, I'm always astonished about that. How do he do that? Like seriously. And did you know that people will feel and will understand your vision when you started mixing those 4 languages inside your style?
Yes, Cameroon is a country with many languages, diverse languages, you understand? Apart from the fact that we are bilingual, that we speak French and English, we have several mother tongues. Also, we have Pidgin, we have Franc-Anglais. I wanted something that would depict such identity. I wanted people to know, all right, if someone from outside Cameroon, if a foreigner in a different country listens to my song, he will now understand that, all right, where this person is coming from, they speak many languages. I wanted people to understand through my songs that, all right, where I come from, they speak many languages. You understand? So it's a way of identifying Cameroon through music, through language. That's because it's just normal. It's easy for you to rap only in English. It's easy for you to rap only in French. But when you start mixing those ones now, blending them all, carrying the same message, using different languages, it makes people to understand that, all right, where this person is coming from, they speak many languages there. And in a way, it will make people want to, come and discover the country or discover how their languages, how they understand each other with the various languages that they have and all. So it was a way for me to identify myself as a Cameroonian, and as a Cameroonian, we have various languages. See, I just wanted people to, get that through my songs. It's like telling them how we are without even, making it too noisy. You just blend the languages in your songs, keeping the messages the same, keeping your message the same, but while you blend the languages in your song, it will make people now to understand and get you that, all right, this guy is really representing the country for what the country is. The country is a country where we speak several languages inside, apart from speaking French and English. So that's why in my songs you listen to French and English, then you now listen to Pidgin and the mother tongue, the dialect and all. You see, so it gets you to understand the various languages that we have, and I just put in a little tammering inside now to spice it up. To spice it up. People need to laugh once in a while. It's good to always make people happy. So I just had to throw that one inside. It started as a mistake, but I just finally used it as my own style and my own identity.
And it was a beautiful mistake.
Instrumental. Il veut me déranger, mais Seigneur dit c'est pas fini.
Oh papi. Galère mes problèmes, la Seigneur dit c'est pas fini, no.
Wombo, yeah, boy tag. Brother no be luck. Blessing coming, so I hustle up. Obstacles on my way, don't they double up. Thank God, this pillar will never fall. Aïla, famille à côté, tu demandes, je te donne déjà noté. Les ennemis attendent, je suis pour célébrer, mais l'autre jour des vampires on a sauté. Finally, to the top of the gummy, yo. Someone no get the chance to make the doors the open.
Lord I pray, come my way.
Everything where I walk for, everything I the hope for.